settle down. Yes. Okay. Okay. I'm not opening it. So command line demo dot py. Okay, so first of all I need to use import sys, and then I have let's say file name equals, where would the file name be placed? In the argv list, which is a part of sys module. Hold on, please. So it's a part of the CSV module, and 0th index would correspond to the file name. And then we have a, let's say, whatever argument that we pass. Let's say we are passing first name or the last name, sys.argv as the first one, and I can call it last, and then this one. So print file name is, I can pass the variable in here, file name, and then say first name, I can pass first, and second, last is simply last. Okay, so let's run this code, Python 3 cmd line dash demo. Now when I pass this, if I run this code simply, what would happen? It will actually throw an error if I do not pass the first name and the second name, or if I can just pass this, let's say big. It actually, this Hassan goes into the first index in argv list, and big goes to the second index in the argv list. The first name is Hassan and last name is big. So the common mistake is that sometimes we forget to pass the required number of arguments. Okay, so when we forget the required number of arguments, what would happen is it actually try to access this element. So if I'm not passing the second argument, it will try to access this argument, and it will give you an error that the list index out of range, because the list contains only 2 elements. I'm trying to access the third element here. Okay, so there is no third element, and you will get an error, list index out of range. So this is a very common issue that the user may not be aware that you are running in a script and how many arguments are required. So what we can do here is how we can improve this code. So suppose that you are developing a logic just to make sure that a user passed the required number of arguments. How would you update it? The same piece of logic. What do you need to do first? Let's say after the file name we have to pass, take the same example, 2 arguments at least. How do you check whether user has passed 2 arguments or not? If not, then tell them that you are supposed to pass 2 arguments. Say it a bit louder. If, so what would be the condition? Sorry? Name. So we do not know, like we can pass any value, like instead of like first name, last name, Hassan Beg, I could have passed a number value, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Any hint? So how do you determine the length of the list? So when 3 arguments are, when your program is expecting, other than the file name, and your program is expecting to pass 2 arguments, so what would be the total length of list argv? 3. So if the length of list argv is not 3, then it means that, or I mean, yeah, it could be higher than 3. You can exactly check, like if it is not equal to 3 or less than 3. We can pass more arguments that would be stored in list argv index number 3 or 4, but we are not using it. It wouldn't cause any problem. But we can check that if the argument list, the length of the argv list is less than 3, it means that we have missed, a user has missed any argument. So what we can do is, if check length sys.argv is less than 3, let's say, okay, then we can print a message, and we can print any message. Let's say, usually with the help of usage, specify, please specify, let's say specify 2 arguments. So this is just a message. Else, if this is not the case, then run everything in there like this. Okay, so let's check again. Python 3 cmd demo, and let's say if I only pass a son. So usage, please specify 2 arguments. So I can just now pass this one, and it worked. Okay, so this is a common mistake, and you can actually handle it by specifying some conditions. Okay, any question here? Okay, so let me go back to the slides.